So it's the end of the year, right? New Year's. Fighter of the year is a big talk. And because we just went through some boxing news on the Tank Davis. Fighter of the year is a big talk. And it's a pretty low bar for what they're talking about. The names being thrown out were Inu went 2-0, two title defenses. What else? What else is there? Everybody else had one. Crawford. Crawford had one fucking win against a guy who literally almost died recently in a Ferrari accident. Can't drive.
Yeah, no, you can't go Crawford. Come on.
No, of course
What
not.
about the Mexican? Did he fight?
Which Mexican?
He didn't do nothing. Canelo.
No, I mean Canelo won. Yeah, he
What
won.
about the tall kid that they're talking about Canelo fighting him?
Benavidez.
Benavidez. He had a big year, didn't he?
I believe to be fighter of the year, you have to fight a minimum of 3 fights. Minimum of 3 fights. You can't fight one. I don't care how big the fight is. You can't fight one fight. You can't fight 2 fights. That's
was the big heavyweight that beat Fury and got robbed? Was he even in the talk?
No, Nagano. No. Because again, one fight, and technically he lost the fight. So he's not going to be in there. There's very few. As I looked, I asked you. I even asked on the thread: has anybody fought 3 or more times this year? I went through the fighting catalog of everybody. Kid Austin's the only one that fought 4 times and went 4-0 of a major fighter this year. Nobody else fought. I was baffled by the fact. What the fuck?
Crazy.
What the fuck happened to boxing? Like, if somebody wants to correct this, feel free, because I went through the majors, the big stars.
That's fighting every 10 weeks.
Everybody's lazy. Nobody wants to fight. That's how you make money. Like, what the fuck are you doing fighting once a year? Is it that difficult to like fight every quarter if you're a major fighter? This is how I look at a guy like Inu, who's got 30 some fights. He's like 30 some years old. And you look at a guy like Ennis, who's got 30 some fights, and he's 25.
But he's not fighting. He's not fighting. He's come to a halt.
He's come to a complete halt to get this interim belt so that he can command a little bit more money and not take risk and blah, blah. All of a sudden now he's a corporate shill fighter who's going to fight once or twice a year. And you're going, what the fuck are you got? Get your ass in the ring, even if it's a matchup that people aren't thrilled about, so one that you're going to win. Stay sharp. Get some rounds in. Knock out 2 losers a year that you knock out 2 tin cans a year.
1,000,000%.
And then take 2 fights that are a little bit more step up hards, and the fans will be thrilled with that. So I like that Austin at least is. And by the way, he's going to have to change his name. He's young now. He's 21. You can't call yourself kid when you're 28. You know what I mean? You can't call yourself Austin because you're not from Austin. You're fighting.
If you keep knocking them out, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But he's probably going to have a Floyd Mayweather, Money Mayweather moment where he switches over.
I think so.
Boy because he can't be kid forever. You know what I mean?
That's a good, yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably got a plan for that as well. But right now, kudos to you for fighting 4 fights, going 4-0, starting the year as a prospect, ending the year as a headliner, co-headlining with Ryan Garcia, who's one of the biggest stars in the sport, whether people like it or not. It's true. It's fact. And people like to see him. And, that's a big step. So the rest of boxing, get your shit together. As you guys fight over whether Inu with 2 fights or Crawford is fighter of the year, you can eat shit. Neither of them deserve it. Fight more fucking fights and quit being a pussy, both of you. And Crawford, if you have a problem with me, you go see Tank Davis. All right. He'll fucking take care of it for me, for boys. And his army of Allah. They'll take care of you. Don't talk shit. They'll tell you to suck his dick. I'll fucking mean it. You know what I'm saying? Scare the shit out of you.
Right.
So we're covering some bases here. Knockout of the year. Do you have somebody that was there any knockout that stood out to you this year?
Nothing fresh. The only thing fresh is that this kid just like 2 weeks ago knocked out a guy. Fuck. I don't even know their names. Mexicans.
Yeah, all the you love saying Mexicans and grouping
I
them up.
forgot that we were. I forgot that we were a boxing podcast again. I got to study up on my boxing.
It's all right. We didn't talk that we were going to cover this sort of stuff. Just call them Mexicans. They love that. They love to be grouped together.
I'm sure these were Mexicans.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
You're not
it was
sure
last week.
who beat who last week?
Perez and Baltazar. I don't know. Fucking Mexicans.
And it was a good knockout. It was a good Mexican
It was
knockout.
a great. It was a great knockout.
We'll call it a tequila shot. You know, just took him right out. A great moment in boxing history. What's his name is in the hospital? Boxing. Larry Merchant is in the hospital.
Yeah, Larry Marshall.
Yeah, there's some people that don't like Larry. I'm not one of them. I like that he was a very knowledgeable, longtime fan, outspoken. The thing that I like most about Larry, and again, there's a lot of people out there. I fucking hate Larry Merchant. Larry was not boring. You know, when you say all those people that say I hate Larry Merchant, what you're really saying is I want to be bored out of my fucking skull. I want somebody who doesn't upset me. I don't even know that they're there. You know, I just
Doesn't disagree.
doesn't disagree, doesn't have an opinion, never says anything controversial. Europe, if you didn't like Larry Merchant and you didn't like Howard Cosell, you didn't like, you know, these guys that are more outspoken, the problem isn't with them. The problem's with you because you suck. You're a boring piece of shit in your home life. You probably fuck in the same position every single time. You know, you sit there, you probably jerk off at the same thoughts every single time. You don't do anything different. You don't like different experiences, and you're not open to new ideas. You're probably like, you know what? It used to be better in the old days. You know, fuck you.
Right. Right.
So people like Mike Sawyer's pathetic father, yelling at poor Larry Merchant and calling him an asshole. You know what? You're the asshole, Mr. Sawyer. Send this clip to Mike for he can send it to his father. And if he's still alive, I don't even know. I have no idea. And if
It's all about youth. It's all about youth. What you're saying is everything used to be better because we were young.
people think that, yeah, people
They
always
think that, but but I mean, fuck, things are pretty good. You know what I mean? The athletes are pretty good. I would match a lot of these guys up with my era. I just don't want to admit it because that was the best time in my life. I was young. I was fucking, everything was great, you know?
You know, a
So,
year ago, I would have agreed with you. Now I'm disgusted with this era. They don't fight. When they do fight, they don't put on shows. You know, they'll win a fight by landing 3 jabs in a round consistently. This isn't like a, you know, once in an every now and then thing. You have fighters like Haney, who's a gorgeous fighter. Shakur Stevenson, gorgeous boxer, really beautiful footwork. Very cat-like reflexes, everything you want to see, and they just don't understand that this is a entertainment at all. They think that the goal is to hit somebody once or twice around and not be hit at all, and nobody wants to see that shit. This would work well. This would work. A Haney and Shakur Stevenson would have been better off in the wide world of sports era, where nobody was doing pay-per-view and they were just on TV, so you could really, without paying, appreciate the beauty of
right.
it. But when you're
Right.
going to put your hard-earned money into a fighter, you want a chance that there's going to be a Gotti Ward war, or a chance that there's going to be a Tyson knockout, or just a brutality like
Just a great fight.
Roy Jones exciting fight where you see some crazy shit, but you see these beautiful exchanges. You're not seeing any of that from Shakur. You saw it with Shakur when he's fighting tin cans.
Not fans. It's not fan friendly.
Not
It's
fan friendly.
fighters appreciate it. Other, real serious boxing people appreciate it, but it's not fan friendly at all.
Correct. And there's going to be a lot of boxing fans that will watch this segment and be like, you know what? I love those fights. Well, yes, you're a narcissistic prick. You're all about.
Pernell Whitaker was a lot the same way.
Yeah, Purnell's the same way. You are a true boxing fan and you get hat tip for that. But you're also a fucking narcissist if you don't realize that it's not fan friendly and you're mad that people want to watch exciting fights and knockouts. You're the type of person that would watch a 3-0 football game and be like, that was the best damn football game I've ever seen. The general public wants to see points scored. And in football, that accounts to points. And in boxing, that means punches landed and knockouts and knockdowns. People want to see excitement. They don't want to see beautiful footwork with a jab for fucking 12 rounds. That doesn't, they don't want to spend, and in an era of pay-per-view, they aren't going to spend $75 to watch Haney land four jabs around. They're just not going to do it. So you have to be fan friendly. That's why Ryan Garcia is a bigger star. Tank Davis is a bigger star. Fury is a bigger star, whether you're mad at him or not. People that can knock people out are bigger stars. I would rather watch a Kid Austin fight any day of the week than I would a Shakur Stevenson fight.
I'd rather watch Gabriel Rosado fight than any of them.
I would rather watch Benavidez, any of these guys that are just animals that get in there and put on a fucking show. Their style is fan friendly. And kudos to them for fighting like that. The other fighters like Shakur and like Haney, they aren't doing numbers in pay-per-view. They're not doing numbers, period. And they're up for negotiation. They're not going to get the cash. They're not going to get unless they fight somebody like a Tank Davis or a Garcia, who is fan friendly, they aren't going to get the money because nobody wants to see them fight. And they aren't pissed off enough at them to want to pay to watch them lose like they were with Floyd. Right. So they're kind of in no man's land right now. And they don't understand that. And yes, his dad's a bit of a prick. So that there's a little bit of an unlikable thing. And he says dumb things like, this is no longer the Mayweather era. Like, dude, if it's your era, it'll be your era without you having to put down legends past. You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's your era, you don't need to talk about great people. Only losers talk about great people like that. You could just, like me, like I'm talking shit about everybody here.
The public makes the decision.
Yeah. Public makes the decision. So these guys need to be more fan friendly, or else they're not going to have the money. They're just going to be going, they're going to be on Twitter talking shit about, other fighters, trying to hype up fights outside of the ring. It doesn't work like it did with Ali. It doesn't work like it did with Mayweather. There's too many Twitter fingers out there. Nobody cares if you talk that much shit over Twitter. It's not interesting or engaging. Go to their house, scream out your window, call their wives whores, do the old things like Duran, Ali, do the good stuff to make the fight interesting and make yourself truly hateable. If you want to be a heel, be a heel. Be a heel. If you're going to make your money being a boring fighter in the ring that people want to pay to get knocked out, be a fucking heel for real. Otherwise, you're just a boring fighter out of the ring and a boring fighter in the ring. And there's nothing worse in entertainment than being boring, which is why, again, hat tip to Larry Merchant, because of anything else you want to say about Larry, the man wasn't boring. And that's a huge plus in my book. What do you think?
I never saw Larry Merchant come on the TV where several people in the room didn't comment whether they liked him or didn't like him.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's the goal. You want people to have an opinion about you. The worst thing, again, is for people to be indifferent to the fact that you're even on the air. And quite frankly, that's the way I feel about pretty much everybody that's on the air right now. I like it. I like it when Roy Jones comments. Yeah, I always know it's Roy Jones because he's got that Florida Panhandle, affect. But he's also smart as shit, and he knows boxing. He knows it real well. I wish they'd free him up a little bit. In boxing, you can tell he's not fully able to say what he wants to say. What was actually pretty effective is when they had Snoop Dogg doing commentary on
Yeah,
this
he
stuff.
was pretty good.
He was pretty good. At least it was, again, not boring. It was interesting. And he knows what he's talking about.
You know, I like him. I can't say I like because I don't like him, but I respect Jim Gray, and he's a fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, Gray is there's something snarky about him. I don't know. I guess I have no respect for him at all. Like anything that he says, I'm just like, it's just like a white douchebag that should be in a C level boardroom.
He's still doing it, man. I mean,
I
he's still
there's not
having
a
fucking.
there's not a single moment that he's ever had that I remember, Jimmy. Like I don't find him to be memorable. I find him to be boring too.
You're also not a baseball guy. He's had some big baseball moments with Pete Rose and shit like that I
pretty
remember.
easy to have non-boring baseball moments when it's the most boring sport in the world. Like all you have
Go
to
fuck yourself.
Hey.
Next commentator.
Hey, Pete Rose, are you wearing women's underwear today? Oh my God, that's the most exciting thing that's ever happened. The guy asked if Pete Rose was wearing. Like, it's not a sport. It's like commentating golf. There's not a lot of color commentating going on. And when it does happen in baseball, they're great moments of color commentating because they're sitting there killing time for fucking 5 hours
4
of
hours.
boring. Yeah. When it does happen, it's great, right? But overall, it's pretty. That's why it's great. Is it's lulled you to sleep, and all of a sudden somebody said one sentence in 3 hours, 22 minutes into a fucking dull fest that was fairly interesting, and now you're like, oh shit, he just said so and so, or he just did a slip of the tongue and just dropped a racial epitaph in the middle of the 7th inning.
Epitaph.
Just full racism in the 7th inning by the announcer, and now you perk up because you'd like to hear some racism.
Yeah, well, I want to hear some racism every once in a while.
I love it when they fuck up and say some racist shit. It's hilarious because you're like, oh my God, that was some. Where did that come from in that deep brain of yours? What sort of grandfather did you have there, buddy? Is there one that sticks out to you?
I just miss racism.